Welcome, everyone, to another enlightening Ascension Wisdom Conversations. It is brought to you by Galactic Ascension Academy at SheilaTillich.com. Yes, this is the time to awaken and live your soul's mastery. I am a galactic grandmother, Sheila Tillich, and I invite you to relax and enjoy this time together as we discover our Ascension Wisdom Mastery. As souls, we have entered a higher dimensional reality as humans on planet Earth. This is the new energy consciousness. It has awakened our multidimensional spiritual DNA abilities, which are given to us by our galactic ancestors. Join me, dear ones, as we live at our soul's full potential, living our wisdom mastery in this ascension time. Hello, everyone. This is Sheila Tillich, and welcome to Ascension Wisdom. Today, I would like to share something very personal with you so you can get to know me a little bit better, where I came from, and how I got to what I do today. So those of you that don't know me, I am Sheila Tillich, and I am an energy healer, teacher, and a recovery metaphysician. And as a recovery metaphysician, I actually share who I am, my own journey, and how I got here. So, welcome. Now, many of you know we are going through such channeling times, actually challenging in a way that's never been done before. And, I always feel that I need to share more about me so that you can relate with me and to understand that we are all one and we are all going through this together. So a little bit about me. I was born into a big Irish Catholic family, and I'm number 6 out of 8 kids. Now, another thing that you might not know about me is that I am hard of hearing. Yes, I wear hearing aids. And because I'm hard of hearing, I've been able to hear, see, and communicate with angels since I was a kid. And today, I am a galactic angelic channel. I actually channel the star mothers, but the galactic angels, the celestial angels who've always been with me. And this is the story I'd like to share about how they are with me and how they use me in my everyday life. So back to how I started in a big Irish Catholic family. Now, when I was a child, as I said, I could hear and see and talk to angels, but I was shamed by the Catholic Church or the nuns that were teaching me when I used to say that I could see them. And so I kept my abilities or talents hid for a long time. But I want to share with you how my experiences going through life has actually evolved me into who I am today, and my actual community that I share, who I am and what I do, by helping others heal themselves and open up all new possibilities. And I always say, you have a choice. You have a choice between love and fear. And I've been there. I've been there and back. And I'd like to share a little bit more about that. So my whole life has evolved around changes, stress, and trauma in my life. My father actually died when I was 15 years old. And he was only 48 years old. And he also was an active alcoholic along with my mother. So I grew up in a home that many of us have grown up with. Not very healthy. And you say, what is healthy? It's like, I don't know what healthy is because I didn't live it. However, I know that I wasn't happy. And I knew that I was not alone. That's the whole key. You're not alone. And it's really all about love. So I'd like to share the story about some of the changes that happened to me and how my loved ones who have crossed over, all of them have, and how they communicate with me. But especially one story in particular. The story about my brother Bob. who actually transitioned into another dimension or crossed over or died in human life in December of 2019. And this story is about how they communicate with me and why they communicate with me. And I am so grateful for my junior and who I am and where I've come from. So back to my childhood. So I started losing family members very quickly. A matter of fact, my brother, Kevin, who was a year and a half older than me, actually committed suicide 3.5 years to the date that my father died. So I say this to kind of show you the trauma, to show you the mindset that I was in, but also the reality that I lived in. And I know many of you have lived in the same reality. And today is like all the changes that are happening right now is sometimes overwhelming. I get it. But I like to share with you how I got through many of it and how I get through now by staying in the positivity of my life and the knowing that I am not alone, and either are you. We have loved ones beyond our capacity to understand. However, we know it in our heart. It's about the heart frequency of love. And the love of our loved ones never die. That they stay with us for eternity. And yes, many of us chose the life that we chose to live now and all the other lifetimes. But I want to keep concentrating on this lifetime. So as I grew, many things changes. Many other family members started to die. And out of 10 of us, I will share, I am the only one left out of 10. My last sibling passed in 2023, and that was a sister. Many, many trauma with all the other siblings and my mother who passed. And through that all, I felt beyond a certainty that there was a reason for all of this. And I always felt that they were with me, and they showed me from the very beginning that they were. Through all of the life challenges I've had, they've been with me. So to move it fast, up until, I'd say the last 10 years, it's the easiest way to do it, is to help you understand about my own life as a healer, as a metaphysician, as a galactic, celestial, angelic channel, how they use me in my life, and how they continue to be with me daily, giving me hope and help me stay out of the negativity of the pain. And that was through my own healing. A lot of people say, yeah, I don't want anybody to tell me what to heal. Well, it was about what I was doing in life, and I knew there was a bigger picture to it all. So I had to actually go through it, just like I bet you many of you are going through it too. That is part of our evolution as a soul. We're all souls. We're here for a reason. We're here to expand our consciousness. In other words, what we see, what we feel, what we know, what we can comprehend, and how we live our life. Whether it's in joy or whether it's in pain. And today's challenges bring out a lot of negative feelings. The way that we've always behaved when things have happened that we had no control over. What I'm here to tell you is that you do have control. And you are not alone. So many helpers are here. And this story, or my story sharing with you, explains exactly that it is all about love. And you have a choice to stay in love or stay in fear. And most of us during this time of the year 2026 are in fear. because of all the challenges that we are facing in life, and on planet Earth at this time. So I'm going to get back to my brother, Bob. So out of the actual 8 children, Bob was number 8, and I was number 6. And my brother, Kevin, was number 7. And as I say, he passed 3.5 years from my father. My father died in 1970. My brother, Kevin, took his own life in 1973. 1973 is when I was in high school, and I graduated from high school. And then 1974, I actually married. So I married very young, started to have children right away. And I always had the love of the angels with me. And as the years went on, I felt a direction, more of a spiritual growth that was happening to me, that I couldn't hide behind my abilities, my actual knowing, my sensing. And everyone knew that I had angels as friends. And I also was involved with my church. I was a church secretary. Now, to go fast, my brother, all my older siblings got married young too. So there was 4 younger and 4 older children. So I was one of the youngers. And in 1989, my mother had passed. Now, to put a little bit of history behind here, my brother Bob, who was in the Marines at the time, he actually went into the Marines right out of high school in 1978. And so he actually was in the Marines for many, many years. Fast forward, going forward, as when my mother passed in 1989, he was a Marine. He was a sergeant in the Marines. And then in 1990, my sister Faye, who was a year above me, was killed in a traumatic car accident. Now I say all those because it's all about knowing they were still with me. I could feel them, I could talk to them, and I can communicate with them. And I finally started to listen around that time. Also, a few years before that, in 1985, I actually got into recovery for codependency. Started learning about me, about my family dynamics, about what was happening with me. But I also was still playing the victim role, that it was always them, not me. However, I knew that that wasn't true. And from 1985 through 89, 90 is when I was really growing spiritually. So my spiritual growth continued. It continued in a way that was beyond my understanding. However, I felt the love. And so I wasn't scared. And I knew I had to go through it to become who I'm supposed to be. So 1985 all the way to 1993, I was working on myself, working in my relationship, my children, my husband, and knowing that something had to change. I wasn't happy. And it was 8 years later that I actually got into recovery for alcoholism, 1993. I say that is because, as I said in the beginning, I came from a family of alcoholics, and that was the last thing and the worst thing that could ever happen to me, was that I was going to become an alcoholic too. Even though I didn't drink the same way. It wasn't about the amount that you drank, it was about the feelings and the reasons why. So my journey of healing, my own personal journey, is that I had to start to go inside and really look at myself. And that's part of the way that I help others heal individually. What do you need? Where do you want to go? Why are you here? And that's a big question. It's a big question. Why are you here? So 1993, I got into recovery for alcoholism. And I also went back to nursing school. And that is part of my journey too in the medical society. From 1993 all the way up into the 2000s, many, many changes happened to me. My relationship with my brother, Bob, was very, very close. Matter of fact, I was his healthcare proxy from even the first time that he went into the Marines right out of high school. So we were very close. And as I was growing all those years, we stayed close. Of course, I stayed in contact with my other siblings, but of course they were starting to die. As I said, my sister Faye was killed in '90. And then I had more deaths, family members starting to die. And some of it was pretty traumatic and some of it was health related. And I always knew that I was going to be the last one standing, literally, and I was. Sometimes I would get sad about that, but then I wasn't sad because it helped me have clarity about why I was here. What was my purpose? So that's why I'm sharing it today with you. So you get to know me a little bit. Sheila Tillich. Sheila B. Dixon Tillich. Yes, Dixon. That was my maiden name. And I still go by Sheila B. Sheila Bridget. So going forward, in the late 2020s is when really a lot of changes happen. Now, to give you a little bit of background about my brother Bob, we were both together in recovery. And I can say that is because he has passed. And I will tell you, he was a very, very spiritual person, just like I was. And we were very close, very, very close in our spirituality, but also our stories were different, but then they were the same, meaning we had the same parents and we experienced trauma. In recovery, I did more than just alcoholism recovery. I did the anger, the control, the powerlessness, and my actions and how I was acting. And as I was growing, my brother was also growing, but he also had a lot of fear and a lot of anger, just like I did. And I dealt with all that, and I still deal with that. And that's the key, is that all the things that you've experienced is in your energy field. And my actual recovery is about my soul. Why am I here? About helping me understand the experiences in this lifetime was all for my growth. And for me to be able to share who I really am as a divine being. Today, I know my role as a galactic grandmother channel is to help others stand in their light, stand in their power. That is where my practice as a metaphysician comes into play. And I do many, many things. I'm very grateful and I'm very thankful for my life. So back to the late 2020s, 2019. My brother Bob had a lot of health issues, heart issues, and he ended up having a massive heart attack. December 10th, 2019. Now, 2019 was a very, very profound year for me of growth, but also knowing who I am and what I do now led up to it all. The story that I want to relate about love is about how my brother communicated this to me. He had the heart attack and he was actually almost brain dead for 5 days. Now, I was also in the medical field, and when I was in the hospital with him, I knew what was happening. I knew he had less than a 20% chance of surviving, and I also was his healthcare proxy. And his wishes were not to be on life support if there was no chance of him ever coming back or being normal. He did not want to be a vegetable. So that was the catalyst about all this. However, to show how Spirit knows, and Spirit knows what you need and how to help you. So for 5 days, my brother was in limbo, almost comatose, but his brain wasn't working fully. However, his spiritual body was, and I was able to communicate with him. I was able to see, feel, hear, and be his advocate, especially for the peers that I used to work with at the hospital. Now, when I first got the diagnosis of his prognosis, which was not very good, it was very shockful for me. And I was in a small room with 4 other people. 2 of the people there knew what I did. The other 2 did not. After the physician gave us the prognosis, I immediately was visited by all my loved ones in spirit, and my angelic helpers, and my team of helpers that have been with me since the beginning of time. Yes, those angelic realm. Yes, the star mothers. Yes, my own spirit guides and my own personal angels. But what was profound is when I was talking to them, I said, and I was crying, why did this happen again? So you see, I had helped a couple other siblings pass over. And this was my closest sibling. And it was very hard for me, painful for me to go through this trauma again. However, I knew that there was a reason for all of it. And so I said to my parents, why do I have to go through this again? And they told me, this is what you're here to do. And then I knew. And then right away, my brother came right before my face. And he said, I'm not coming back. You know what to do. I'll be calling the shots. And I'm standing right beside you. Those are profound words. Because before my brother had the heart attack, we were estranged for 8 months. And we had had many estrangements. Matter of fact, that was the 3rd one in all the years where we didn't talk to each other for a while. We were angry with each other. But he was very angry about his own funeral, about who he didn't want there, from people that he was angry with, things that he broke off relationships with because of his pride. And he had a lot of fear, which we all do, fear. And so for him to come to me right before my face here, with a big smile on his face, was totally different than the last time I seen him in person. This story also is to share with you is that the soul never dies, the love never dies. Even though the persona of a loved one comes through a lot so that you can recognize them. This was all about love. All about love. And for the next 5 days, he orchestrated all of it. And so to move faster through the story, when he actually passed 5 days later, is when he had my hands on him when I was taking his temperature. He was already taken off life support. And he wanted my hands on him when he passed. It was a very profound time, and I was so grateful that I was able to spend some time with him and help him pass over like that and feel his love for me. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit farther when we had the day of the funeral. The day of the funeral, I am a minister. However, I didn't orchestrate everything. We had other people, but I did talk and gave his eulogy. And that morning, I sat down to write, and my brother came to me and he says, I want you to write about what I told you, the 4 things. And I says, really? Oh, you gotta be kidding. People don't know what I do. He says, no, I want them to know. So I did. During his eulogy, I told a story about how we were all loved. And it's all about love. And I told him, I will share your story. I will share your love. For you see, his persona carried that anger. His persona also carried the life lessons with those behaviors. And also the connection with those people that he was very close with. That funeral was very special. It was very divine. And many people were touched by me giving that message for my brother. To know beyond the shadow of the doubt, we are not alone. And he wanted those to know, even though he had problems with his anger and relationships with many, many people, it was all about love. Your soul never dies, and your loved ones are always with you. That is so true. And they are still with me. And there's many, many stories more that I have where my brother is still in my life and has helped others heal from his past. It's all about being open to feel the love and to know that we are not alone. We do have to take action for ourselves, though. We have to look at ourselves and heal what no longer serves us, the pain that we have inside. And where we know that there's more to life than is being shown in humanity. This actual video is about me sharing about myself and who I am and what I do. And to let you know that you are not alone. There are so many of us out there that are awakened during this time. In other words, we feel things, see things beyond the normal, what we've always been told that we can do. And this is a time of a great shift of consciousness. And as a metaphysician, I deal with the energy of higher frequency and lower frequency, meaning your feelings, what you feel, the energy around you, and everything you've experienced is within inside, and it's outside of you too. So if you've gotten anything from this video today, I hope it's about love. To help you see there's so much love out there, and you do have a choice. You can live in the fear and let that control your life and be unhappy. Or you can come from love. And the love is inside you. That is the power that you have inside you. We are not alone. No way. And we are for always, always having more things happen to us and more signals and more helpers out there. Know that you have the power to stand in your own light. You have the power to heal or change your life for the better, to create a whole new beginning. A lot of people call it manifesting. Yes. I like to say creating a whole new story, rewriting your story to what works for you. And that's what I'm here to do, to help you change, grow, and also to become aware. So I hope this brought you a little bit of joy and to know that your loved ones are still there with you and you can tap into them. It's about believing in yourself, taking the action, and doing something about it. So everyone, I hope you've liked this video. You can go to my website, SheilaTillich.com, and book a clarity call. A clarity call is where I talk to you one-on-one, a free 30-minute call. What do you need? I have a whole basket of tools. And I also have helpers that help me to know what you need. Those are the angelic, celestial beings that work with me and work with you. They're here. They're ready to work with you. You have to make the first move. So, it's all about ascension wisdom. We are ascending into a different dimension, a new consciousness of knowing, of feeling, and understanding why we are here. I, as a galactic grandmother, midwife, they name me that. Midwife, helping you awaken to your ascension wisdom and to stand in your light. Everyone, thank you for being with me here. And let's do this journey together. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye now. Welcome, everyone, to another enlightening Ascension Wisdom Conversations. It is brought to you by Galactic Ascension Academy at SheilaTillich.com. Yes, this is the time to awaken and live your soul's mastery. I am a galactic grandmother, Sheila Tillich, and I invite you to relax and enjoy this time together as we discover our Ascension Wisdom Mastery. As souls, we have entered a higher dimensional reality as humans on planet Earth. This is the new energy consciousness. It has awakened our multidimensional spiritual DNA abilities, which are given to us by our